I don't have the camera enabled. There we are. Hello. This is a somewhat completely unprepared stream. I just felt like streaming, so here we are. Unfortunately, I haven't had anything to eat, so I'm gonna be nibbling on a little bar. I'll try to stay away from the microphone, though. I also have my coffee prepared. Oh dear. Right. I hope the sound is okay. I've been fiddling around with my sound setup since my last stream, which was... Good gosh, how long ago was that? Oh, it's been a while. Anyways, so like I said, this is gonna be completely unprepared. I don't really have an agenda. The only thing that I want to try and do today is set up my new projects folder and then take one of my old projects that I had previously done with Visual Studio and completely, only compile it with a batch script and basically also try and compile it without the C Runtime. Because I had this insane idea of like, hey, my life is too easy. I want things to be harder, right? So I'm just gonna remove the C Runtime from everything and do everything myself. Why the fuck not, right? Pardon my French. So I'm basically gonna try and attempt that today. So I think, let's just open Visual Studio. I do have a few projects in there. I have this VS Project solution. And let's see if I can find a good candidate to change. So, I have static website here. Yeah, I could do that. I have like a static website generator that I wrote. It's not so much a static website generator. It's more like stitching together, different files with some kind of template for the header and footer and stuff like that. I think the right description will be an HTML stitcher. It's just stitching a bunch of files together. But I don't think I will be doing that today. It's kind of boring. You know what? I have this... Let's see. I was thinking of doing the Game Boy header extractor, since that is actually like a finished and released product, and it would be nice to like compare of what the executable size is with and without the C Runtime for it. And it has a bunch of command line arguments and stuff like that, so it's reasonably challenging, right? It's copying data around, it's struct. Maybe I'll learn a few more things because, yeah. Have to check on my dog once in a while. I gave her a treat, so she's quiet. So she's happily nibbling on it on the bed. You can't see her right now, but maybe I'll put it in front of the camera later on. She's giving me a devious look at the moment. So I think this would be more fun than the static website generator. Oh, my keyboard is still connected to the other PC. Hang on. Like I said, I'm not prepared at all. Completely ad hoc. Okay, so as you see, I now have this X folder right here, which is basically a virtual drive that I map to a folder in my user directory. I have this setup bat that gets run in the beginning. Well, this basically, like, how do I hate this Windows 11 thing so much. Fine, edit in Notepad. Basically, all it does is call subs, and so this is the actual path, but I just map it to X. It's just easier to deal with. Anyways, I have my static website right here with the builder included. I eventually want to remove that and put it like in, some kind of into the path file so I can call it from anywhere, and then just maybe have a bad script here that actually runs that. It seems like I already tried to do this. Oh yeah, great. It's just a bad script that calls the executable in there. So I kind of already tried to do this, but that is for later. I also am trying to add a few more articles onto my blog and stuff, but I'll do this off stream. This is not fairly interesting. So then I have the source code folder right here. This basically just includes third-party stuff. So at the moment I have downloaded glibc right here, and STB. So basically all the STB single header libraries, which are quite cool. I'm also making a lot of use of the STB sprintf, which is an excellent library. I can really recommend it. So if you're compiling your program without the C runtime, it is actually really helpful to use because it provides you with a printf essentially for you to use, and then you just call into whatever prints out the string. So this is just like building the string, so it's the sprintf, not the printf. But it's absolutely excellent. Actually, I don't think it's including anything from the C runtime, right? Oh no, it uses stdargh and stdfh. Actually, let me check what those headers are, because I've never actually looked at them. So let's find out. That's not what I was looking for. I just want the... How can I go to file? Wait, go to anything, right? Nope, that was not go to anything. I forgot the shortcuts already. Jesus Christ. Control P. There we go. Go to anything. Let's go to stddev.h. So what is this doing? If we have C++, it's defining this. CRT functions required. I mean, I'm not using that anyways. Wait, so what is it using for? For size t and pointer diff t. Size t anywhere here? I mean, it has offset, but... Oh, is it actually in this file? Yeah, it is in this file. Okay, but as far as I can tell, it's just like a bunch of defines and stuff like that, so that won't be pulling in too much stuff. And then we have standard arg. Right, that has just defines for these things. But it's using the VC runtime H. Oh, okay, so CRT VA start. Oh, okay. Let's see. CRT, what was it? Oh gosh. I'm looking for this. Whoa, okay. That doesn't seem to be used in here. Is it used anywhere? In VA defs. interesting. Oh, see, now I'm getting lost into the STB header stuff. It's not relevant to anything that I'm doing right now, but hey, whatever. Yeah, so STB single file header libraries I can absolutely recommend. Great. And I will showing you how to use the sprintf library today. Don't think I will need anything else from in here, but we'll see about that. Yeah, so basically I'm just trying to build myself this little folder for all the projects and stuff like that. I'm switching from Visual Studio over to just doing things on the command line. So essentially just here. Whoops, no, it's, oh my god, I can't type, it's dear. But I'm not going to do static website. Let's do the GB header extractor. So try and get this one compiled without Visual Studio and without the C Runtime. Let's see if we can actually still build it. And indeed I can. Okay, can I switch to release? Just so we have a frame of reference of how big this thing is going to be. Hey, Kakalak Joe. How you doing? Whoa, I still have the release thing in here. Okay, so release. No, that's not where the executable is. Gosh darn it, I hate Visual Studio. It's down here, isn't it? Sure, let's put the GB assembler and everything in one folder. Oh, good God. Okay, so the release executable size is 187 kilobytes, right? Well, 186. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I had no lunch, so I'm a bit hungry. So I'm gonna nibble on a little bar while I'm talking. But I have my coffee, so I'm happy. And my dog just got a treat, but now she's looking at me for more. Hang on. I have this little understanding with the dog. Like, she gets treats, but she leaves me alone during the stream. So we'll see how this goes. Let me just. All right, Paul. Yeah. There you go. Have a little bony. Yeah. Why are you looking so skeptical? Just eat it. All right, she's not sure. Anyways, so 186 kilobytes. I assume we will get this a little bit smaller at least. Ooh, why is there a bunch of MFC DLLs in here? Holy shit. And even the VC runtime DLLs. I must have had a compiler flag to like put all these in the output folder as well. Anyway, we won't be needing that anymore because I want to get rid of the VC runtime. All right. So let's just create a new project folder. Call this GB header extractor. My keyboard is wobbly. GB header extractor. Let's just open this folder in Sublime Text, shall we? Projects, GB header extractor. There we go. And I'm just going to copy these bat files right here into, whoops, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just going to copy these bat files right here because this is how I do all my compiling and essentially just reuse them most of the time. So we have an application name. This is going to be GB header extractor, right? Maybe I should do I want to keep the original name? Because the original name doesn't use dashes. It's just like, it kind of looks ugly though. I mean, I can rename it later on, whatever. Doesn't matter. So the linker libs, well, we want kernel 32 lib definitely. I don't think we will be needing user 32 lib at all. We have source files right here, which we should probably create. So let's do a new folder called source. And in there we want a main.c file. And that will be our program. Let's do program start, right? And what we want is, we want Win32, lean and mean. And we're gonna, whoa, my God, include the windows.h. So this Win32 lean and mean just excludes a bunch of Windows feature defined in the Windows header. So the resulting encode should be a little bit smaller, hopefully. There's a bunch of other things you can do. Let me find the website for this, actually. Oh dear, this will pop up a shit ton of tabs. YOLO. Yeah, so this is what happens when I do research and stuff. Look at all this. Let's just add a few more. Controlling Windows header, I think, or something. Yeah, using the Windows headers. There we go. This describes like what you can set and do. And there is this, there we go. Define Win32 lean and mean to exclude APIs such as cryptography, DDE, RPC. I don't know what DDE is. RPC, remote procedure calls, shell, and Windows sockets. None of the features this program will use at all. And then there's a bunch of no defines, basically. And you can find those if you look in the Windows header. Oh, I do not have set up the path to... Ah, shoot, that won't work, will it? No, it won't. Hang on, I have to switch to the other one. There we go. So when... Nope, what? What did you just open? No, I want this. That's the Windows H. So there's a bunch of no defines you can specify, like all of these. So if you do not use GDI, for example, you can just define no GDI and it will remove all GDI defines and routines. You can do that for kernel for some reason. I don't know why you would want to do that. If you want no user stuff and things like that. That is great. I do not want to do that right now, though, because I had situations where I wanted to use a specific feature and I used like one of these, you know, no user defines, and then it says, oh, this feature is defined in the user 32 lib. So I just removed the no user define, but then it was also included in some other thing right here. So there's some kind of overlap in the set of stuff that gets excluded, which is just, yeah, it's hard to figure out. So the best thing is to like finish your program and then add these no things in the end and see what breaks one after the other, right? But I can probably remove the kanji stuff. I don't need that, the help stuff, but I will do that later. Oh, I just tried to save the file for some reason. Anyways, but the Win32 lean and mean is like the most basic thing you can do to keep, you know, Windows 32 lean and mean. It's literally what it says on the tin. Okay. So DB header extractor, the kernel, we have the main file, right, which is not doing anything at the moment. It probably should call exit process, though. And what do we want to exit with? Just 0, I guess. Yeah. It probably should have a no return tag or something, but whatever. Okay. I need to get used to the other shortcuts. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place, but we'll get through it. So then what this batch, so we're in build.bat, and what this file is doing is it's then looking through all the command line arguments that I pass in and then setting, certain flags. So for debug and release, it will also output what kind of build it is doing at the moment. Then we have the compiler flags right here. So we're in C17, UTF-8 mode, stuff like that. There is some things, if I want to optimize for a specific architecture, which right now I do not want to do. I already have the C Runtime stuff excluded, so no buffer overrun checks and stack probing. Yep. Additional compiler flags is empty. So basically I'm building like a set of variables here, and then just add it all together in the end. There's linker flags down here, subsystem windows. We probably... do I want this to be console? Because I know if I don't specify console, the output of the console app will be slightly weird. But if I do specify console and I want this to be a UI app as well, it's kind of... probably need to provide two different executables. Let's just leave it as console for now. The stack size is set to... what is this? 1 meg, I think. Yeah, 1 MB. It's also committing it immediately. This is why I disabled the stack probing, because I do not want the stack to grow dynamically. I just want 1 megabyte and just be able to use it. I have the entry point set to program start, which I've defined here. And then no default libs, so it will not include any C runtime stuff whatsoever. I'm setting the executable name here. Then I'm doing a bunch of build stuff, so build the output folder. So everything will go into GB header extractor in build and then either debug or release, depending on what I'm doing. And I'm just calling the compiler stuff down here. Call compile. And then some unsetting stuff, right? So this is fairly straightforward. Well, I say that, but I have never dealt with bad files before. It was quite a challenge. So anyway, I also have a debug script right here. So what this is doing is, okay, I don't need the app arguments at the moment because I don't have any. But it's essentially doing the same thing. It's just running whatever you specify, whether debug or release, and what it will do is it will open the rad debugger, and with a certain app path here, and then the app arguments, but I'll leave the arguments empty for now. So this is the debugger I'm using, the rad debugger. I can really recommend that one. It's such a great tool. I don't know, I'm fairly new to it, so I don't know how to use, I'm not a power user or anything, but it's just so much nicer to use. I'll show you in a second why. It's great. Anyways, and then I have the same thing right here for just simply running, because the output will be obviously in build, debug, and stuff like that, and I don't want to, always switch the folders to run the program or type the whole path, so I'm just having this little run script right here. So then essentially what I can do is if we go to TB header extractor, I can now say build. This will build the executable. If I want to build release mode, I can say build release, right? This will build it in release mode. Then if I want to run it, I just simply say run, and it will run the debug version. Run release will run the release version. And if I want to debug, I just type debug, and there we have the rad debugger. Did you see how fast it opened? This is incredible. And I can just immediately jump in. And I love this so much. It's great. The rad debugger is great. By the way, it's open source and free if you want to have a look at it. It's absolutely fantastic. Rad debugger. There we are. So it's by Epic Games because they bought Rad, which was the company that was doing that before. And yeah, it's so good to use, and it's so easy to build as well. If you download the source code and want to build it, which is what you have to do at the moment because it's still in alpha, so there is still bugs, although I haven't encountered any yet, as I said, because I'm probably not a power user. But it's, yeah, I love this tool so much. Just to show you, so I was using Visual Studio before to debug. Let's go to debug and say, I think it's dev-env, right? Debug. Look at this. It's still loading. Okay, we're done? Yeah, we're done. And now I can jump in. But did you see how long this took? This is like, and then let's compare this with rad debug, right? Bam. Bam. Like, what? Like, what? Oops. It's absolutely great. This is like the difference between people that know what they're doing and people that have no idea how to write software. Or rather, that have an old piece of software and just add on top of it without actually thinking what the implications are. But anyway, let's not bash Microsoft. Ooh, that coffee hit good. Okay, so don't know where I should put the microphone right now. It's kind of weird to have this arm on the other side. I switched the side of my microphone arm, so I'm getting a bit confused. So sorry about that. Maybe I'll put it a bit further down, like so I can actually see my keyboard. Because I'm one of those people that still occasionally glances at the keyboard because I cannot type fully blind, which after a decade of software engineering, you would think I would have it down. But for some reason, I'm a slow-ass typer, man. Okay. Cool. So, well, that's a good start. So I can build this. Okay. Let's just see what we need to copy. Probably want to copy the README file. Why not, right? Let's just add it. New file. README. README.md. There we go. And okay, I have some resources which I'm not going to bother with right now. I have some type devs. I mean, those do make sense. I do like using those, so I'm going to copy these. But what we're going to do is have a common header file. Let's call this common.h. If not defined, Dani, let's do underscore Dani. Dani, well, this is the GB header extractor. Oh God, GB header extractor common H, right? Whoops. Then we want to define it, and there we go. And then I want these. Where you going, dude? My dog just jumped off the bed to drink water. All right, cool. Okay, this is just like my preferred way of typing things. So instead of sign char, short, or all this kind of stuff, I like to use I or U. Actually, these days, I kind of prefer S for signed. So let's change that. I'm sure I'll get still confused once in a while, but yeah. It just makes more sense because like these are prefixed with U, so I should prefix those with S instead. You want to go back to the bed? Yeah, right. Come on. Yeah. You have to say hello to the stream, though. There we go. Say hello. No. Camera, focus. No. All right, then. Go back to the bed. She has a hard life, man. Like, laying down on the bed all day and sleeping, it's just, it's tough, you know? It's tough being a dog. It really is. Thank you for the follow. Okay, so we have these defined options. What are options? Oh, right. Okay, so these are all the command line options that I had set up. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, you can see I have a lot of these no defines here for the Windows header. Anyways, I don't just want to blindly copy it because like I wasn't quite happy with the code anyways. Also, it's using a lot of like wchar stuff, which I don't really want, right? So the first thing it's doing, it's having these options struct right here and then read command line options. So I think I'm going to start with that and trying to set the exact same thing, right? So probably options.h. Okay, we have an input file and an output file. Do I want these to be on the stack? That's the question. No, they do not need to be on the stack at all. They can just be pointers because we passed them in anyways. Or do we? What is actually happening here? Let's start with that, right? You're right, dude? Okay. I was just choking on the water she drank. Oh dear. Okay. So output, try and fetch the next argument. And then once we have it, I'm copying it. Where do I copy it? I copy it to, right. Yeah, that was useless. There's no need to copy that. Can just live there forever. And then I just have flags. Okay, so I think I can, these flags and stuff, so I can copy this. Let's do new file. Let's say options.h. And let's just include it with the common file. Why not? Include options.h. No, actually, that makes no sense. Let's put the Win32 in common though. Let's do that. And then include common H and include options H, right? So there is that. And here I possibly want, doesn't matter, let's just pull in common.h as well, doesn't really matter. Okay, options struct, options T, we have our, this is going to be U8 flags, right? This should just be a char pointer, really, to input. I do not want to have a max thing set there. Okay. And then I had a little function called read command line options. So let's just copy that one. Sure. And try and translate it over without using any C runtime functions and stuff like that. So set option flag if unset. So if this is that, do like this thing right here. Sure. I was trying to think if I could make this a macro instead, but for now let's just translate it. Why not? True, false. I need to use the Windows defines for the bool and true and false because again this is a program without the C runtime, right? So I'm having that. It's kind of dumb to have this as a function. Whatever. Okay, option flag is set. Well, I do have macros here for this stuff, which is interesting. So true, false. You know what? Let's just do true, right? And then sure, false. Okay. I don't like that way of writing function names anymore, so set option flag if set. And then this should be read command line options. Cool. So let's put this in the main, which is program start. And we have options T, options, read command line options, options. If this fails, what did I do in the original? I just exited. Yeah, that's fine. Well, I can just say exit process 0 here, right? That return won't be reached anyways, because exit process like terminates the whole process. So actually, does this complain if I... Oh, I can't compile. Actually, okay. Let's try and compile this. Clear the screen. Build. Right. Okay, that's what I expected. A bunch of errors because obviously we use argc and all this kind of stuff, which is not available without the C runtime. There's some incompatible types. Cool, but this is all just in options.h, so this is... at least it won't... Well, for now, it doesn't return a warning that this code cannot be reached or anything like that. So I'm just going to leave it like this. So read command line options. Did I set this to subsystem console? I cannot remember. I think I did. I did. Did I? Did I? Yes, I did. Cool. Okay. Well, that is good to know. Right. Okay. So argc and argv are not a thing without the C runtime, but I made a YouTube video quite recently, actually, that goes through this whole thing. So I can just replace this with get command line A, which is the Windows version of the command line, right? Then we have a command line right here. Cool. We set options flags to none, which is fine. We're basically zeroing it out, right? And then, right, I'm doing some size checks. Don't need that. So basically now I just need to parse the command line. So, and how we're going to do that is we're just looping over. Okay, let's do it this way. We have a base, which is currently pointing to the same thing that command line is pointing, right? We have a while. We do I want pointer arithmetic? I mean, I could just use an index. It would basically be the same thing. Whatever. So while base. So as long as base is not null, we're just gonna return over it. If it is null at some point, it doesn't matter, we just return true. Honestly, I don't think the Boolean is necessary at all. Why would this ever fail, right? So and if the input path is missing, why not use the current folder that the executable is in, you know? Actually, that's a good point. Why didn't I do this? Because I'm doing this for some other tools. I think I do this for the static website. Come on, main. Where's the main? There we are, main. Yeah, good current directory. There we go. I don't think there should be a bool at all. Like, it either works or it doesn't. Right? But what if someone puts in wrong command line arguments? I mean, that is a good point, right? That's probably what, yeah, unrecognized argument. That's why I did it. Okay, fine. Okay, so how many arguments do I actually expect? std out, no file, recursive, headless, append, UI. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we just control it via these flags. Okay, whatever. So the first command line argument is usually the executable name, right? Actually, one thing to test would be, so if Yeah, let's do that. So we're getting the command line. If command line for some reason is null, we still want to set proper flags, right? So flags is going to be none anyways, but then options input should actually be the current folder the executable is in. So I'm going to just use get current directory here, which I need a refresher on. Whoops, Win32, get current directory. Let's see where this is actually defined. This is in the kernel lib. Excellent. Don't need to do anything extra. It is included in the Windows H. Fantastico. It has a buffer length. What? The length of the buffer for the current directory string. Pointed to the buffer that received. Interesting. It's a bit shit, isn't it? Let's get full path name. Whatever. Probably don't need that, but I do want get current directory. Actually, how do I... Okay. Let's just allocate a buffer for the string, whatever. I don't care right now. So let's do get current directory. Yeah, it can't be the same name, right? Fine, let's just call it get current year, whatever. So we call this. It needs a buffer length. Let's just say it's max path because that is defined in Windows H, and it needs an output to a buffer, right? So what we can do is say buffer heap alloc get process heap. See, I don't... man, this is so annoying. I would just put this on the stack, honestly, but that's like... Fuck it. Let's put this on the stack. Global current dir max path. Bam. As soon as we read this, let's just do get current directory g current dir max path. What is the return value? The return value, if the function succeeds, return value specified in not including the null termination character. Okay, do I need this? Probably not, because it is null terminated, whatever. Who gives a crap, right? With that in mind, let's make a string. And a string has a base. And it has a U64 for the length. Actually, U8 base, right? So that's a string. And then what we probably want no, this is fine. Let's do that. And then we have a string, which we call so this will be gcurrent buffer. Length. And gcurrent base. There we go. Just have this on the stack. Get the current executable directory. Actually, let's call this set the current executable directory. Okay, set up the flag none. Try to get the command line. If the command line is 0, we set the input. We can just set it to actually. Why not use string input, right? And string output. So, and then we can just copy for input. We just set it to gcurrent and options output. We set to the exact same thing. So, and then we say return true, and that is completely fine because now the input and output path are basically the same, and it's the path of the executable, which is fine. If we do not provide any command line arguments, then that is exactly the behavior that should happen, right? If we, however, do have a command line argument, then I'm gonna have to assume that there is an executable name. There always should be an executable name, from what I remember. So I'm gonna skip that one first. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm just gonna have skip executable name, right? And let's not do the base, that just confuses things. And what we want is whatever command line is pointing to, we want to make sure, actually, bool quoted false. A command, so an let me go from the beginning. In command line arguments, the first argument is usually the name of the executable, and it can either be quoted or unquoted, right? So what I want to do is a do while loop, right? And we're looping as long as command line is still. So if we reach a 0 termination character, this while should stop, right? We're already checking for null up here, so that should be completely fine. However, while this is going on and we are in quoted mode, or command line is not space, and command line is not a tab, right? And if we are in quoted mode, nope. If command line points to a quotation mark, then we need to like flip quoted equals not quoted. Otherwise, we can just, so it will be a valid path anyways. So otherwise I can just say command line ++ and we just skip. No, I need to say that anyways, so bam. This is what I want. Okay, cool. So this will skip the executable name. And let's just make sure it actually does what I think it is doing. Right, comment this out. We go in here, say build. Interesting. What is this? In line 3.6. Right, because you're really pedantic. Cool. And then we can say run. No, run won't do anything. But what we can say is debug and jump in. Right. So then we go into read command line options. So we're getting the current directory. So we're filling up the current directory buffer. So let's put that onto the watch list. G current dir buffer, right? Let's view this as a text. At the moment, there is nothing in there. It's a zero terminated buffer. How does that work? Never mind. Okay, so this is a zero terminated buffer. We get the current directory name. So we're filling up the buffer, and there we go. This is the current executable, directory, right? Actually, we don't need to display this as text, but let's make it like so. Just to explain, this is the code in assembly right here, which is sometimes really useful if you want to go into these things. I'm not very well versed in assembly, but I'm trying to learn it, so that's why I have this open as well. I know like the basics like jump and stuff, but that's about it. This is the code we're stepping through at the moment. Here's some target options. Do not need to be worried about that. This is the call stack down here. I forgot what this is. Oh, the console output. And then these are our watch thingies. And now we can also take a look at G current dir, our little structure. And base is pointing to, well, 0 at the moment, so there's nothing there. Can I give this a view rule of text? Is that possible? I guess not. But the length is 43, which is excellent. So if we do strlen with G... Oh my god, current dir buffer. No. Ah, that would be too nice if that worked. Okay, oh, now I'm stuck in it. Whatever. Okay, as I said, I'm not a power user with this debug, but we're getting there. Cool, and then if we go one step ahead, now base is actually pointing to the right buffer. Okay, so we have set that one up. Isn't that cool? Cool, then we have options flags. Let's just skip over that. We're getting the command line. Let's see what command line is. We have command line. And that is the executable name and path in quotation marks. Fantastic. Exactly what we expected to be here. So let's just make a breakpoint right here, and command line should now be pointing to basically nothing if I go ahead. There we go. We have skipped the executable name. Okay. So that works. Nice. Back to the code. So now I just want to copy the same behavior that the application had before. I do not want to change command line. Should I change them? I say I do not want to, but usually it's minus minus for long names, right? And then, I don't know. Do I care about such things? Not really. I'll just leave it with a minus. I just leave it exactly as is. Come on, let's not change the whole world, right? Okay, so what needs to happen now is I need to pass the rest of the command line arguments. And one way to do this is to have a little function, which we will inline. And we say, you know what? You're going to give us a string. Are you going to give us a string? No, you're going to give us a bool. Get next argument, right? And what we're going to have here is okay, let's just have a bool for now. And we're going to pass in I'm trying to think of a way to make this nice, but oh shoot. Okay. Let's just call this arc, and what we're doing here is we need a char and we need base. Let's do that. And then we first want to skip all white spaces. So let's do a while. Whatever base is pointing to. While no. Yeah. Okay, we're skipping the white space. I'm using a double pointer here because I want to modify this. So let's do that. And if we do not have a white space, then we have reached the first command line argument, right? And they're all starting with a minus. So I can now do a simple check if base, right, whatever base is pointing to, is not a minus character, something went wrong. And in that instance, probably want to print an error and return false. And yeah, I don't have error printing just yet, but I will get to that in a second. I will just copy something that I did previously for one of my videos. Cool. If it is indeed one of these, then I can probably just increment the pointer by 1, because now we want to point to the character after this thing, right? And now what we can do is figure out, so we have, what do we have? Let's write it down. We have input. Actually, I can just look in the README, right? That's probably better. There we go. Boop. Let's do this. Like this. Whoops. Like this. And this. Okay. So we have input, output, std out, no file, recursive, headless, append, and UI. So they're all fairly different. And I've done this very simple. I've just had a string compare, right? So I can probably do the same thing. Is there an intrinsic for string compare? MSVC intrinsics. So intrinsics are functions provided by the compiler, and maybe there is a string compare. But the question is, does the compiler intrinsic string compare call into the C runtime string compare? And if it does, that's a no-no. I know strlen did not. Actually, let's have a look at the implementation of this thing. Why not? String compare. String compare C, sure. What is string.h? String.h, what do you have? You have all these functions right here, the definitions, but I do not care about any of these, like, at all. At all. And I do not care if it is like, you know, this is basically for a sorting function, and I do not care about that. All I care is like, hey, is it the same? And if not, throw an error. I'll do that outside of this function. Let's just worry about strings. Okay, let's just get the argument strings. So we have a minus. It needs to be a minus. Should I really check this in here then? Probably not. Let's just get rid of this, right? And we just skip this. don't want to do that. Okay. So, oh my lordy. Let's do that. I'm not happy that this is a double pointer at all. This is just, wow, whatever. Let's just have a switch. We have a case. I'm just going to combine everything together. Why not? Then we have a default kit. Well, no, actually, then we have a. If it is a quotation mark, we want to do something, right? And if it is one of these, do I care about that? No, I don't. I don't even care about quotation marks. What am I doing here? I'm overcomplicating this way too much. Okay, so whatever base is pointing to, we want to increment. And, right, so just break. Let's make some braces around this. I like this better. So if we have this, we're starting a new argument, and I then want to find the end of that argument. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do argument base equals whatever base is pointing to, right? That is the basis, like that is the start of the argument. And now I essentially want to get to the end of the argument, so I can do another while. Actually, let me increment whatever base is pointing to after I assigned it. And then I want to go as far as reaching the end of the argument. But now I just realized I do need to care about quotation marks because of paths. Well, isn't that annoying? Oh, man. Okay. Let's not increment it. Just assign it like so, and then whatever base is pointing to, we assign get end of argument onto. And then whatever base is pointing to will be passed in there. And then we have arc length, because we now want to count the length of the argument. So in here, we set count to 0. And then we have a while with a base, and then we have a switch with a base, and then we have a case. With this, so if it is a null terminated character, no, we are not. Then we just go out of the loop. What am I even doing? What am I even doing? Right? So then we just return the base. So if it is now a quotation mark, I want to do something special. So I'm gonna go into this mode right here, right? If it is a backslash, I want to do something special, so we go right in here. And if it is, well, if it is anything else, whoops, then I'm just gonna count, right? So I'm just gonna do count plus plus, and I'm just gonna do base plus plus. So that sounds about right. Okay, if it is a quotation mark, I want to check the next character after it, so I'm gonna increment this by 1, and then what I'm gonna do is, well, check. Do I care what the next character is? No, I don't. I don't really at all. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna swallow it, right? So let's do +2. No, I need to do that because I need to make sure that if it is one of these thingies right here that I'm actually going to terminate. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is just increment again afterwards to swallow the character, right? So if it is actually a null terminated character, I need to stop what I'm doing. So that means we return the base, and because that is the end of the argument. Now, if it is a quotation mark, I kind of want to find the end of the quotation mark, right? So what I want to do is I want to actually advance base, and then I want to have a little while loop right here that loops over this thing. Yup. And then, well, if it is anything but that, I can just go through the loop again. That is fine. Okay. So what I can do here is say I have another switch where I check the base because there's some things that I need to check, and if it is one of these I need to do something specific, right? If it is one of these I need to do something specific. Do I? Yeah, I do. And if it is anything else, whoops, then I need to do something specific as well, right? So if it is indeed null, then the argument is at an end, so I can just go out of this shit. Hang on, I haven't accounted for count at all. So what I want to do is I want to increment count here. Base. If it is this, return. If it is not, count. Right? Because we have one character, which is this one, and then we have the next one that we're swallowing. Yes. Cool. Then, quotation marks. So this is a quoted run, so we're incrementing to the next character for that, so we actually need to check what the quotation mark is. If it is anything at all, but I also need to count the quotation mark. Jesus. Daniel. Okay. Count the quotation mark. No! Yes. Good God. Okay. Yes. I need to count the quotation mark. Absolutely, I need to count it. I absolutely need to count it, right? So, and then we're trying to skip the quotation mark. So what I'm going to do then is, like, we're trying to basically find this one, because this will then be the end of the quoted argument. But, so, if it is anything else, anything other, we're just going to count that character as 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to increment the base pointer. If it is one of these, we basically copying this shit, because we're doing the exact same thing. We count that character, look 1 ahead. If this is like something that needs to worry us, then we're gonna just return the base. Otherwise, just return the count and return. Yes. So now, if it is one of these, still need to increment the count. And that means we're basically incrementing the count anywhere. So let's just do that. Right. No need for this stuff. And if that happens, we kind of want to increment base to the one after that. But this is essentially what we're looking for. Yeah, I should have put this in a separate function, so let's do that. all over the place, all over the place. It's not like I have done this before for a video, right? Whatever. Get end of quote char base u64 count. Right. Let's separate the concerns a little bit. Cool. Nope. Does that look right? There we go. And here we just return base, right? Okay. So. We have a character. We count that character no matter what. If the character is this little thing right here, I want to increment to the one after it and return base because we are done. What am I doing? Why am I dereferencing this? It seems like I need coffee. That's what it is. Or food. One of those things. Luckily, I have food here. Sorry if I'm chewing into the microphone. How about I mute myself? Ooh, that was needed. This lunch break is sponsored by hungry people everywhere. Exactly. All right. So get end of quote. So what I can do here now then is say you know, whatever base is actually now pointing at end of quote, and what we're doing here is base +1 because we want to go ahead one of these, right? And as count, we just pass in the same count as the end of the argument. But however, what we need to do is we need to say, well, whatever count is pointing to, we need to increment it by 1 because we need to account for the quotation mark right here, because I'm not doing any parsing or anything like that, but I still need to count it for the overall string length. Whew. Okay, so right, and so then we have this case right here where we have a slash. Actually, we do count all the characters here as well, so we can just, you know, move the count over to here, similar as I've done up here with a switch, right? Fine, remove the space, whatever, doesn't matter. And what we want to do here is break. This will now point at either a zero termination character or the next character after whatever we were pointing to, right? So then we do the same thing here, except then we do this, and then we can do another fall through here. Fall through. So it goes down here and increments the base if it needs to. Right, okay, cool. And then returns the base. And that is the end of the argument. Fine, fantastic, cool. So we have this. We set the argument base to whatever base is pointing to at the moment. Then we're dereferencing base right here, and we're also setting it back to whatever we're getting back from here. The argument length will already be set, so base will now point to a zero termination character or the next character after that. But since we are at the end of the arguments, we shouldn't continue with this loop, because this is just called get next argument, right? So what I want to do here is say return true. Yes. That is exactly what I want to do. Okay. And then down here, well, if we're already pointing to a zero termination character, then, well, we're done, right? Because the while loop will actually not start. But now this won't be zero terminated, but if I wanted to be zero terminated, I could do that by simply saying, well, whatever base is pointing to will dereference and modify with a zero termination character. And not only that, we then go to the next character after that. But we should not be doing that if whatever we're pointing to is already a zero termination character. So if it is not one of these guys, then do this stuff, right? So now we are just skipping a bunch of white space characters until we actually have a valid character. Then we go into get end of argument. We are like going through this, right, until we hit a quotation mark. If we hit a quotation mark, we are just trying to find the end of the quoted run. If we found the end of the quoted run, we'll continue. There might be some other characters right there, right? And wait, this needs this needs to end some more time, right? So I haven't done the end. So when have we actually reached the end of an argument? Well, we have reached it if we encounter a space or if we encounter a tab. Huzzah! So that means we return base because we are done and all your base belong to us. Okay, cool. Cool. So get next argument. Oh, right. I have a quotation mark down here for some reason. Okay. I got this. So we're skipping the executable name, which is absolutely fantastic. And then what we need to do is, like, we have a, whoa, not uppercase. We don't want to shout while. We have a while loop right here where we just say, okay, we need a string, right? That will be our argument. Get next argument. What do I, it's a base point. Okay, so I need the address of command line. Double indirection, why not? And then I'm setting the argument, right? So I'm looping, as long as I have valid arguments, I'm looping over each of them. If we don't have an argument anymore, that means like we have reached the zero termination character, the last character. Actually, let's make sure that is the case. Yeah. Yeah. If I have reached the last character of command line, this will just return false, which will break out of the while loop, and then I'm essentially done. And now I realized, even if command line is null, I still want to set options to the current directory no matter what. That just makes life a little bit easier. We're just terminating early if this is null. I'll go all Dalek on the pointer array? Sure. Okay, so going over argument by argument, so this will now be valid strings. I hope at least this will be valid strings, right? But we can probably check that in a debugger or something. So what we could probably do is say something like, let's just have a statement here. Cast this to a void pointer, arg, whatever, base, doesn't matter. Just need something in that loop that I can break on. Okay. Build, debug, bam. Okay. Breakpoint, fantastic. I fucked up. Hang on. I also have two instances open. That's not okay. Do this, right? I want to step in. Why am I going to get end of quote? Why? What? 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 Okay, I should have set a breakpoint here. How about that? Yes. Cool. So I forgot that actually I do not pass in any command line arguments, so I was just confused what's happening right here, because wait, why is this even okay? Now I have no idea what's going on. Jump in. Jump in. Why are you immediately an end of quote? What? It's because I'm being dumb. That's what it is. I didn't build a new version, so I'm trying to debug the old version with the new code. So of course that doesn't work. Duh, because I had syntax errors, which I blissfully ignored. Fantastic. Okay, so what is this? Line 33. Let's see. Where's our program? There we go. 33. What do we do in 33? Chat. Sure. Let's return a chat. Dear chat, I'm trying to return you in a function. Why does this not work? Okay. Oh, that looks better. Okay, one line 49. 149. What do we do here? Of course, I do a pointer, even though this is not a pointer, so let's just do that. Cool, and we have one warning. I mean, 96. Sure, what's the warning? Is it just because this is a U8? Fine, fine, fine. I can cast. I can cast. If you want me to cast, I can cast. Now I can actually debug. How about that? Now we can jump in and probably hit our breakpoint. Fantastic. Look at that. Look at that. Stupidity fixed. Cool. So get next argument actually works. But I mean, we won't have any arguments. The loop just finishes because I don't have any arguments passed in at the moment. But we can change that by going in here and pass in arguments. A, B, C. Fantastic arguments, right? Actually, let's do a quoted. Let's do a quoted C with like slashes and then a quotation mark. How about that? That looks good. Wait, what? Why don't you? Does this save? Yes. Okay. Cool. What? Oh, I only need to click once. I do a double click and then it opens twice. That is useful, I guess. Okay. Yes, arc base. Will you look at that? Actually, let's just print up. Yeah, can't even type arc. Oh my goodness, what is going on? We have. Huh. That length is definitely wrong. Good thing I checked. Okay, we go again. We have now B, again with the wrong length. We have C with surrounded quotation marks, and again a length of 0. So what the bloody hell have I been doing? Okay. I mean, I do not see it. I do not see what's wrong. Let's go to... Let's break on here, I suppose. Yeah. Right, so arc base is the whole string at the moment, which makes sense because we're after the executable name. Okay, let's jump in. We set count to 0. can I... Hang on. I never tried this watch pins thing, so let me see if that actually works. That would be absolutely fantastic if that works. Let's go here, and let's pin this. How can I pin this? Can I say like, yo, pin me? Pin me? No? Ah! There is a pin right... Can I go to locals and say pin? No, you cannot do this from this watch window for some reason. Okay, fine. Let's go arg. Pin. But that doesn't do what I think it's doing, is it? Now if I step in. No, you cannot keep seeing what it is. You can look at the registers, I suppose, but... I guess pinning doesn't do what I thought it was doing. Oh well. Fine. It's a bit disappointing, but that's okay. Let's just go on locals and observe the count. So going into base, increment. Ah! Yes, that will do it. That will absolutely do it if I do it this way. I was incrementing the pointer and not actually the thing it's pointing to. That will do it. That will for sure make things weird. Okay, build, and now again have managed to open more than one of these. Fantastic. Okay, whatever. Cool. Right, so let's go in here, read command line options, actually set breakpoints there. And the target disappeared, of course, because I closed... like a fucking Egypt, I closed this stuff. Okay. And, oh man, like... Now. Apologies. Right, let's go in. Okay, the breakpoint is there. Why not? Why not breaking there? Why, what's going on? I thought I just said it. Okay, let's do it this way, whatever. C, right. I hope it is set now. Okay. Or is there like some... No, you're debugging, so... Okay, no, it is set now. Okay, 5. Right. Let's go ahead. Right, I still have this, which I do not need. There we go. Length is 2. No, why is length 2? What did I do? I jump in here, go in here, set the length to null. I go to the next character. I increment. Yeah, I'm counting the spaces, but I want the length to be without the zero termination character. So I'm just gonna put the counting to after this. It's not nice, is it? Like, I don't want to count these. Right. Then I go in here. I do want to count it. You know what? I'm just gonna do this one by one. No, I do want to count again. No, let's put it here. I'm counting that one, right? Then look ahead, and then... Okay, cool. Do I need to change this here? I mean, I do want to count this one, so that will be okay. I do want to count that one, which I'm doing here. And I do want to... Yeah, okay, I do not have this case here. This is only the case if I'm going in here. Okay. Nope. That is the wrong one, but that reminds me it's still running. So build, and then right, of course all of these shifted. That's okay. Now, argument A and 1. Fantastic. B and 1. And then C, which is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 indeed. Cool. So that works. Now I can iterate through all the arguments, argument by argument. And now I can basically just copy what I did before, where I just have these compares. I mean, it's just command lines. It's just in the beginning. So doing like a string compare one after the other, I don't really care that much. Like, what will that take? A few microseconds? Like, not even. So, whatever. So, but I do actually don't need to string compare the same way as C does with like the sorting and stuff like that. All I care is it actually, is it equal or not? So I can just do bool. Is equal. Yeah, why not? No, actually, let's put them in an array. Make just input arg, which will just be minus input. So length of 6. Output arg. Let's just make a bunch of globals. Why not? It's the out no file recursive headless append and UI. Okay. So this will be std out, which is 6. And then we have no file, which is, whoop, pardon me. Oh my God. What am I doing? My brain is not controlling my fingers. My fingers decided to do their own thing. So this is 9, right? Then we have, okay, 8 of these. Oh, I forgot to, whatever. And then we have GUI. I hope that works like that in C. I've not used globals much before, so... Nope, of course not. Interesting. Interesting. Does that mean I need to do a cast? One, 3, 6. That is way down. What did I do there? Oh, right. So, yeah, okay, fine. Fine. Okay. So now I can say is string equal, and we can have string A and string B. And if A length is equal to B length, otherwise return false, right? And then I can just say for, do you want a for? No. E64 length equals a length, right? We just need one length, and then we have a while where we say length but decremented, right, until we reach 0. So, and if no. No, that won't work, won't it? Shoot. Let's just do a for loop. Why overcomplicating things? So U64, let's just call it len to 0 equals, let's just do a length, whatever, a plus plus, right? And then we have if a len is not boolean, then return false. Otherwise, return true. Okay, so this is our string compare, basically, whatever. And then I can just do the exact same thing that I did before while I reinvent the world, right? So let's just copy and paste this. Do I need anything else? Nope. Okay, so so all of these WCS compares are now gonna be is string equal, right? So let's do that. Now we have okay, fine, that is all the same. So instead of that, we have the current argument string, and then followed by these. I didn't really need a string type, to be honest. Might have done things unnecessarily complicated, to be honest. std out. We have no file. You know what? Right, and this equals 0. Whoop, that was one too much. Don't really need that. Okay, set command line flag if unset. Let's remove this one. I have something like that as well. Set option flag if unset. Right, so well, it is exactly the same, to be honest, so don't need to change anything there, do I? Well, I now pass in the options and the flag. Yeah, no, that is fine. Okay. So almost have command line options working, almost. There, of course, is still a bunch of, you know, C functions that I'm not allowed to call because I'm building without this C runtime. What did I do here? 120. Nope. 120. Ah, of course. It is pointers. Of course, of course. Right. I undeclared identifier in 121. What did I do? Oh, yeah. That amazing. I'm so used to writing I in for loops that I just automatically wrote I, even though I set it as length before. Like, fantastic. Oh, man. Okay. You know what? I don't like this way, so let's do it like that, and then that just looks a bit nicer. Right, printing errors. Now, That will be fun. Technically, I should also print errors here because get current directory can fail as well, right? And there's a few different errors here. For one, there is Windows API errors where I need to get the error message with get last error and then ask the operating system to give me a string that I then can print out, an error string, because I usually just get an error code, but you can ask Windows to interpret the error code and give you an error message based on the current user locale and stuff like that. And then you just print that out to the console. So I need to do this for get current directory. I don't think I need to do this for get command line, to be honest. Let's check. Win32, get command line A. Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, if it is null, I just, use the default stuff. But get current directory definitely can go wrong. So win32, get current directory. If the function fails, the return value is 0, and then you have this get last error thing right here, right? So if length is 0, then we probably want to print something. So if this is 0, to do print error, and we probably want to return false because something horribly went wrong there. If we can't even get the current directory of the executable, there's no reason to run this program because I don't know which files to fetch and where to write to, right? So if this fails, all bets are off. However, when command line is empty, I don't really care because I just use the default stuff that has been set right here, right? We just assume no command line flags and just use the current input directory and the current output. The current directory as the input and output, basically. Right. So this kind of error right here is probably just writing stuff out into the console, right? So that should be relatively easy to do. Of course, I do not have printf available because, again, I'm not using the C Runtime, but I will show you how to do this with the STB headers, which are excellent for this kind of stuff. So I do not need to write my own printf. It's all good. And this can just be like, okay, yeah, this is relatively easy to change. Okay, how about this? So this. Actually, all of these we can just replace with write console A. Whoops. Write console A. And instead of std error, we can say get, what was it called? Oh, come on. Oh shit, is it write console output? No, it's write console, right? Get std handle. There we go. This is what I want. And we want the error handle. Okay, so get std handle and put in the error handle, right? Then we have the buffer, the numbers of characters to write. This can be null, and reserved is reserved. Okay, so that means here we need some kind of length for the string. And then we have null, null. Okay. So, and it's also shouldn't be white characters anymore. Let's just change all that to just be normal strings. And then what I'm basically going to do is say char error. You know what? Let's make this a function actually. Yeah, let's make this a little function. So let's say void write error. Actually, let's put this in common and string equal as well, because that has nothing to do with command line parsing at all. Yeah. So down here, let's put includes all the way up. We have the string struct. We have a string equal right here. Okay. And then what we can have is write error, right? And yeah, why not? Let's just call it message. And then write console. Is write console? Okay, I don't know if write console is just a macro definition that switches between white characters and narrow characters. So let me find that out real quick. It is. So there is write console A. Cool. So I'm going to use that instead. Get standard handle, and the standard handle was std error handle. Right, then we have the message. We have a D word of strlen message. Okay, and then followed by null and null. Now, I'm saying I'm using this, I'm compiling this without the C runtime, but strlen is also an intrinsic. So I can just use that and it won't fail compilation, hopefully. Do I necessarily want to use that? I don't know. Do I want to rely on intrinsics? Or do I want to provide my own implementation at some point? Fine, let's just open this and I mean, that's all it's doing, right? It's just looking for the end character. I'll leave it in for now, whatever. And actually, instead of doing it like this, let's define this as a macro. Because like there's nothing special that this function is doing, so might as well just leave this like that. Let's call this message pointer, right? Because it is a char string. And then we can do it like so and like so. Come on. There we go. And now I can get all of these and say, well, this is now... I deleted the error message here, didn't I? Ah, yeah, I put it up there. Okay, never mind. This is now write error. And right. Oh, no. Shit. Okay, and then I can just use that message right here. Okay, so these are the error messages. We just write them out to the console, and then we have this printf right here, where we actually want to write the unrecognized argument out into the console to notify the user, hey, this thing is fucked up, you don't want that. And then there is some stuff going on here with copies, which... okay, this is fetching the next argument, so I have to look into this, but let's just comment this out for now and say to do fix me, right? Same here, because for now I do not care. I just want all of this stuff to work. So printf. Now I can go ahead and just copy. So I have this stb libraries right here. Those are single header libraries. For those that don't know, they're really, really cool. And if you just go on GitHub and look for stb, nope, stb header libs, let's use Google, whatever. There we go, from nothings. They're really cool libraries, and I really love this approach of like header-only libraries, because you don't have to worry about any lib files, C files, anything like that. It's just all, you know, just basically include the H file and done. I think the person who wrote this also worked on the original Thief, I think. It's Sean Barrett, right? Yeah, let's see what he's worked on. Well, he has a blog. There we go. My games. Okay, those are the games that he hasn't done commercially, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, he's written stuff for Thief, The Dark Project, right here. Check his video on YouTube regarding his library. I mean, I've watched a bunch of stuff from his. He's a pretty cool dude. But yeah, I just forgot what he worked on. I just remember Thief, because he went through the Thief source code at some point to explain it to people, which is quite cool. But anyways, he provides this sprintf, which is absolutely glorious. So we're just going to copy this into our little project right here. Source, right? Sure, let's make a new folder, why not? Call this stb. And then just include that. You know what, let's include this in common as well. And because I only have header files and one C files, I'm just gonna define the implementation stuff as well. So define stb sprintf implementation, and then include stb, right? What's the exact file name? stb sprintf.h. I think it was just stb implementation, right? Yeah, cool. All right, and what we want is probably just this one right here. So it's pretty easy to use. So you have the stbsp sprintf. I mean, function names. Okay, whatever. Right. Let's not get too hung up on this. I think you can actually rename the prefix if you so choose. I think he always has a bunch of options in here. Like you can basically control how to use this stuff. Yeah, here, decorate. So at the moment, it's just stbsp underscore and then whatever the function names are. But if you want to use your own, you can just use the stbsprintf decorate thing. So I could be so cheeky and be like, no, was it with define? I forgot. Yeah, define this. Ah, okay. Right, you just... Do you just do that? And then you can basically just change the prefix if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that anyway, so I'm not sure why I even bother with this right now. But yeah, it's quite cool. And then you just pass in the buffer where you want to put the final string into. So I need some kind of string buffer for error messages or something. I mean, I can just have a global buffer. I do this already here as well. Why not? I have a 1 megabyte stack, so whatever, right? Let's just call it string buffer. Sure, let's make it max path. Why not? It's 255 characters. That's perfectly fine. So just pass in the buffer, and then you pass in the message, just like so. You can just copy paste whatever this is. It might. It has some extra formatting options available if you want to, but you don't have to. So what you can say is arg base, but given that we already know the length, I can also just pass in the length, right, of the string. Why not? Let's be friendly. And then the return, let's just say length, right? And since we already know the length, I could probably do something like that, right? There we go. Nope, that is the STB header. I don't want to look into that. So, and what we want to print out is, well, the message, right? So gstring buffer and then len. There we go. So let's build. Cool. Not equals illegal for struct in 5.4. Well, that would be correct, wouldn't it? Because we need the base. That's what it is. Right? Didn't pay attention. And then we have stupid mistakes. What? Oh no, I made it wrong everywhere. It's just 3 letters. I can't even type 3 letters. What the flying fuck? Okay. Cannot convert from string to string putter. Okay. Where did I fuck that up? In 191. 191. Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it? Because I didn't have... Yeah, I'm not taking the address of any of these, so let's do that. Yep. Eh? What's this all about now? Oh. The fuck. Wait, did I just put... Okay, I made it correct for some of them, but not all of them. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, fun times. Okay, cool, cool. All right. So this error right here is interesting. If you do not use the C runtime and you use floating point anywhere in your code, it requires this external symbol right here that is just called _float used, which is like a global variable somewhere. I don't think the value you assign to it matters. And I'm just a bit confused. Oh, right, no. Of course we're using float because I implemented, I included the stb sprintf, which is able to handle floating point values. So, of course, now I'm using floats in my program, even though I do not really use them. So now I just have to define that somewhere. I'm just going to probably do it in common. I forgot. I'm just going to cheat a little bit. Just look away for a second. Gonna go in my command line video that I did in the source code for the command line video, and just gonna... No, it wouldn't be in there, would it? Ah, damn it! Where did I do this? Did I do this here? I edited it somewhere already. I know I have. I know I have. I'm pretty sure I have. 90%. Or we can just use whatever C is doing. Yeah, why not? Sure, let's just copy it from the C source code. So yeah, you just need... actually, let's put this after all the type defs. Let's just put it... let's put it in here. So you just need this one. This is the value the C runtime on Windows sets, but I don't think it matters what this is set to. Okay, and that works, and we can run, and nothing happens. Okay, so that is a good start. How about... I'm trying to think how to do this, so I get a little bit of feedback right now. I mean, I can just debug through it, I suppose, but I kind of want to write the messages. Okay, let's just print out stuff here, right? So let me copy this real quick, right? So we have length right here. We have a string buffer that we can use, and then we can just say input will be this one, right? And then this would be options input length and options output base. No. Input base. And I'm just gonna write this out as an error. Why not? I mean, it's just using. Okay, so we have input, which is now output. We have input, which is now output. This will just be the same thing. And then let's just write out the flags as well. Why not? So let's do if. What are all the flags? I forgot already. Okay, I have option flag is set. Fine. So we have these. And what is the right macro? Options flag is set. So what I then can do is say, do this, and then if options flag is set, what is these? Right, it wants the options. So options. Right. And then I'm just gonna stb sp as printf g-string buffer, and then option whatever is set. Let's just say is set. Cool. No, I don't even need. I don't even need that. Let's just write error. Option X is set, and then I'm just gonna type in whatever option I have, right? Okay, so option none. That makes no sense. Option input is set, option output is set, option std out is set. Then we have no file. Then we have recursive, headless, then append, and last but not least, UI. Okay. Build, run. Cool. So at the moment, it just prints out the input and output path, which is just the path that the executable is in, right? So let's do debug, I suppose, and then we can say GB header extractor. Well, let's just input and output probably won't work, but I can at least check the other ones, right? So std out, no file, then recursive, then headless, append, and GUI. Oh, that doesn't work, does it? Oh, that's a bit shit. Whoops. I think we have a problem here. Right. All right. Debugging time. I guess let's... Where do we break? How about in... Okay, first of all, I need to set this to these, right? And then let's break... Let's break here. And then we jump in. Okay, so... So we have A and B, std out and input, right? So they have different sizes. So we're just gonna go out. Std out and output. Well, they have the same sizes, but at some point we should break out because it's not the same thing, right? Cool, that happens. Then std out, std out. That is exactly the same thing. So, did I set the length wrong? I did. Oh my god. Shit. Shit, 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 shit. You know what? How about I just do that and don't try to be fancy, right? Let's not hard code this in for now, right? Do. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Oh my god. You can't do that in C. Fine. Okay. 7. That is 7. That is 7. That should be 10. And this should probably be 9, right? Yeah. And then 7. And this is 4. Jesus. Okay. Debug. Okay. Now GB header extractor. Let's copy what I had before. There we go. So input output option std out is set, no file is set, recursive is set, headless is set, append is set, GUI is set. Fantastic. And now if I just add something that is not recognized, unrecognized argument. And even if it like happens in between, right, it should just stop. There we go. Cool. And of course all the way at the end as well. Fantastic. And if I have nothing... Okay, what about std out without the minus? That should obviously fail. Okay, that fails. and std out like this obviously fails as well. Yeah. Cool. How long have I been going? I need to take the dog out in... I still got a little bit. She's already giving me a side eye though. Okay, well, command line arguments at least were... well, no, let's do this one, right? So try and fetch the next argument. So this is what I try to do, I see. So, well, I can just do that, right? So if this fails, then... Well, let's not make it to do. Let's just write the error, right? Write error. So if this fails, there is no argument. So, or it succeeds, but the argument dot base is a minus. I should have this separately. So, okay, we set the argument to that. That is fine. And then if argbase0 is actually this, then this is a different error. So either we don't have an argument after we expect one because we had the input and we want the input path after that, and or we have an input path after that or an argument, but it starts with a minus, then it's probably one of the other arguments, so it's still a missing input path. So we should probably complain there as well, which means we say return false and return false, right? And then I'm copying the path, which is no longer necessary to do, because all I need to do now is say, it's options, right? Options, input. Do I have this as a string? I do have this as a string. Awesome, awesome source. I can just set it to arg. Right, so let me just copy this. This is input is missing. I didn't distinguish those errors before either, so you know what? Yeah, let's just have them like that. Whatever. It is missing, so missing is missing. And then I need to do the same thing for the output, right? Output path of file. Let's say output path, and then this will be output. Okay. Oh my god. Nope. I want to debug. So now if I have input but nothing there, I should also learn how to spell input. Oh my. I swear I'm not high. So input path is missing. Cool. Output path is missing. And if I say input with something after it, again, Jesus. It still says input path missing. Okay, but if it is anything else, right, then we just expect this to be the input path. And we actually set it as the input path. Okay, so the same now with output. Fantastic. And option output is set is then being set, and option input is set is also being set. Fantastic. Okay, cool. That is command line parsing, and it works. I'm probably going to stop here, though, because my dog is giving me the stare down from the back. Hi, do you want to come up? Come here. There we go. There you go. You want to go out? Yeah. Yeah, I figured. Okay. Right. But yeah, that's essentially, we got some part of the application working without the C runtime. That is pretty excellent. And to be fair, all the rest that's following didn't really use the C runtime at all anyway, so I don't expect any problems. Okay, I still need to print Windows errors. Right, I still have this to do up here. But I mean, that's actually something I can steal real quickly from one of my old projects. Hang on. So I have command line. I was actually doing that. So is it this one? Glad you're using Visual Studio for that. Fantastic. Yeah, there we go. So let me just put this in common. Right, so I have this one right here. It actually says exit with Windows errors, so I'm probably not going to do that, do I? But all it's doing is it's calling get last error, returning the error code, then calls format message A, which will also allocate a buffer, right? So I'm just letting the system allocate it, whatever. And then I just, okay, this one I used as a message box and then call exit process. I probably don't want to do that. So let's just call this print Windows error, shall we? And then how do I get the length? Format message. I think it returns the length, right? Yeah. Okay, excellent. So I can do this with dword length. And then I can just call one of my macros, write error length, and what we want to print out is the message buffer that just has been allocated and the length. Though I do not write the can I actually it takes in arguments. What is this size? Well, programming pretty hard. Maybe I should quit. You want to quit? Don't quit. Never give up. Never. Look at this dog. Do you want to disappoint this dog? Don't give up. Okay. I mean, the arguments require that I actually have a message, a format that I pass in, but I don't have that, right? Because I'm just using this for the error code to actually give me the message. Do I want to fiddle around with it some more, or do I just want to... So, okay, just to explain, my problem right now is just this message doesn't have a new line character in here, right? Which is pretty annoying. I mean, I could just do that, honestly. Yeah, whatever. Let's just do that. Let's just call it another, like, a second time with just the new line character. I mean, what an error. I quit anyways. I don't really care, right? It's just in the back of my head. I'm like, this is not efficient, but fuck it, whatever. Excuse my French. So let's just do this. So this will get call get last error, and I mean, if get current directory is null, then we couldn't retrieve the current directory. I don't know when that would ever fail. Maybe you don't have the rights to get the current directory, but that would be just weird. So I don't know. So we're just printing the last error that Windows reported, and then just return false from here. And then up in the main, I will like deal with that. And all the rest is like not Windows specific at all. So I really just need this for here for now. Yeah. Okay, let's look here. What have I done here? No, that is the wrong project, isn't it? Shoot, I was looking at the wrong project. Okay, so I read the command line. Then I set input path defaults. Oh, I see. I only tried to do this if the flag was not set. Whereas now I set it preemptively. So in here, is that a problem? Not really. It just changes behavior slightly. That's not too bad. Fail to set output path to the same value as input path. Why was I doing that? Oh, I did a string copy there. Hey, wait, where are you off to? We're going soon. Soon. Just 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think I need to do this anymore, but basically all the other stuff. Okay, print CRT error message, we don't need that. Print Windows error, don't need that. Don't need that, maybe later on, I don't know. Combined path, I probably need, yes. Append path. Why do I have combined path and append? Oh, so this is in a new buffer and this is in the same buffer. Fine. Well, that seems a bit weird, but okay. I mean, this is Yeah, those functions are pretty easy to do, right? It's just copying memory around, so I can just do a mem copy, whatever, doesn't matter. Will just be a bit longer than that. I'm just checking whether there's anything else that would be like really hard to translate, but I don't think so. We have command line output stuff, which yeah, we have write console, right? So that's fine. Write header to file. Yeah, that is just the whole header thing. Hi. Do you want to say something? No? I tried. So there is fopen, which, I mean, there's Windows equivalents for that. I don't need to worry about this kind of stuff. Fread, yeah. It's all good, man, all good. Yeah, and then was already using Windows APIs down here anyways to like iterate through all the files in the folder, like find the first file, right? And then find next file and then just write things out. So that's all pretty straightforward, so I'm not too worried about that. But I really need to walk her now. She's getting a bit restless, right? So, yeah. At least I got command lines working. All right. Anyways, that's it. I'll see you guys next time, I suppose. Bye. Yeah, we're going. We're going.